just going to jump on and be like, hello, welcome to Managing Your Energy Stocks, week 2. And I have Ben with me here, Ben Ward, Jess Bell, Rich, Galaxy Tab, phone's ringing all over the place. Sorry, it's my son's five birthday today. So we've been managing a lot of energy.
Lots of energy.
Actually, lots of boy 5-year-old energy, and the phone hasn't stopped ringing this evening. So anyway, managing our energy is, from a men's point of view, we're looking at foundations of well-being, and the conversation that we were having was around 4. So you're saying there's about 8?
Well, I think how I see it, there's probably 4 super important elements or foundations to well-being, and that includes like your physical and your mental health as well.
So we're just going to touch
4
on
absolute 4
pillars.
fundamentals, and then particularly, I was thinking about like the last couple of weeks, what's really, really important, probably a bit more specifically to guys, to males. And I've come up with 4, and I was bouncing that off Jess before, and she kind of liked it, and she's like, do that really naturally in front of the camera. So we'll try and do that. We'll try and be more natural tonight. But I still I'm still getting used to this Zoom. I present every day to a bunch of people, but the video format's really, really kind of different to me. So I'm going to try and keep it natural. So excuse me, we're all learning this.
You still better.
So I think, slight format change tonight, in that we would like to get some feedback from you guys, so involve you guys in the conversation. We don't want it to be just like all one-way traffic, because it's so much more, you can be so much more beneficial if you guys get to have a say, ask us some questions, share your own experiences, because this is what this is all about. I feel this is with how things are changing socially, with the pandemic, I don't want to talk about it. I'm so bored of it. I don't know about you guys. But things are opening up. So I feel like, we're really close to doing what I want to do, and what brings me the most joy is meet up face to face and bringing guys together and having those face to face or shoulder to shoulder, whatever you want to call it, just getting together as men and talking naturally. But this is great. This is a great alternative, and it's what we've got at the moment. So that's awesome. I think I'm going to be working on that in the next little while. I've got a venue in mind, so I think everyone here is probably Sunny Coast locals, or not too far away.
Budrum, Caloundra. A few of the guys that we had on the call last week, Sydney. We've actually got Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth people, so they can just jump online, and the rest of you guys can hang out on the sunny coast.
That's right.
So that's just around the corner anyway. But tonight we're going to talk about those 4 main pillars. So probably expand like 4, and then go into the next sort of 4 sub pillars. I don't know what you want to call them. The first things we were looking at was nutrition. Now you and I agree, disagree on our. So I was talking about the needing more sleep. Yeah. Basics. Everybody needing more sleep. Everybody needing more water, and everybody needing more movement, more physical movement is often what I come across. You agree with that, and you've packaged it into slightly different categories. Slightly, but all important. All kind of falls all over that. Like so nutrition, let's start there from a nutrition point of view.
So I'd count hydration, like fluid, water, whatever it is, putting that into I'd count that under nutrition.
I know Rich could talk to us about the importance of having filtered water as opposed to drinking lots of tap water. Yes, he's muted himself, but I can see that you're smiling.
Yeah, no, my printer was going off, so I didn't want to have my printer blasting in your ears.
No, all good. So filtered water, definitely, rather than coming off the tap water, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a good move. Oh, it's just full of stuff that you don't need in your body. It's the chlorine and the fluoride and everything else that goes in it isn't necessarily stuff you need in your drinking water. Fluoride's good brushed against your teeth with a toothbrush. Not so good when you swallow it, and it doesn't do much good when you're swallowing it. So, it's just one of those things. Depending on where you live as well, there can be lead pipes still leading to your house and all kinds of other different bits and pieces that can have stuff in it. And if you just put a filter on your water, and you pull the filter out 2 months later and you see how brown and gross it is, it's pretty
shocking,
pretty
right?
full on. So it's definitely something that you need, that looking at doesn't hurt, having a look. But
I feel like the nutrition topic, it's like there's so many things that we just default to. Like, I'm just used to my meat and veg, and what is that doing to my body? Where is that coming from? We've changed so much in how we're getting good nutrition these days.
If at all. Yeah.
If at all.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in supplementation, because that's where I've seen the biggest shifts in, you know, a lot of the clients that I've worked with, and including myself. We default to thinking that if we're eating enough vegetables, but they don't have like our water, you don't, unless you stop and think about all the nasty stuff that's in it and what's that doing to your body, and increasing all of your heavy metals and toxicity and all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, I'm eating broccoli, that's good for me, but how much nutrition is actually in that?
Yeah, that's true, because the actual studies are showing that the actual vital nutrients in the fruit and vegetables are actually it's going down. It's been going down since about the 50s, I think, because we farm differently.
Yeah.
The soil quality is different. The topsoil's being depleted. We don't look after the soil anymore. So, I mean, that's another conversation. But really, it is. Like, we could talk about that all night.
We could. But
it's really super
basics
important.
in nutrition from a health point of view.
From health, so from a foundation, we do better when we put good fuel into the machine, and not only mentally, also physically. There's now actually an emerging field called neuropsychiatry. Have you heard of that?
No.
So it's actually looking at the relationship between what it is you're putting nutritionally into your body and how you're functioning or not functioning mentally, because there's so much evidence around this stuff. So we're now actually recognizing food is medicine. Like, it's that important, but like you say, it's just gone by the wayside. It's something to kind of something convenient, something quick, something to make us feel good in the short term. Like, and let's face it, like, we all do it. It feels great to have something nice and sweet and fatty and sugary and salty, but you know, there's ramifications pretty important. So what another emerging field is, if anybody has heard about it or interested in it, is this idea that your gut's a living organism. Like, it's called the microbiome. So, and it's full of what we call microbiota. Like, you know all about this stuff. So a whole bunch of beneficial bacteria, and the evidence suggests, so the more good bacteria you've got, and the more diverse those bacteria are, so the more different kinds, the better your health is going to be. We know that basically the feel-good neurotransmitter serotonin is produced mostly in your gut.
Yeah.
That's one of
90% of your serotonin is produced in your gut, and so that was a huge moment for me, because having anxiety and depression a long time in my life, and having medications for that, never once did I have a doctor go, actually, what's going on from a digestive health point of view. And as soon as I started addressing that in myself specifically, I started to see massive shifts. So that's why we talk about digestive health as a foundation for mental health
and physical. And so
people, all of health, but that your gut is your second brain.
Oh, exactly. It's like, it's got I think it's the most densely packed neuronal. So it's got the most nerves in your body, your gut. It's massive. Like, we literally feel with our gut. There's so many sort of phrases, like, you've got a gut feeling about something. You feel it in your gut. Like, we get the butterflies. So much is linked back to the gut.
And when you're in stressful situations, you see a big difference in your bowel habits and stuff too. Often when I've taught emotional health things, it's been a lot about, have you ever felt like you're loose or more constipated? Are you emotionally stuck? Are you then noticing that you're physically stuck? And until you draw that parallel, you don't think about it. But I've had people, sit in sessions and go, I had the worst IBS that whole time when I was in that job, and I never thought about it from a stress point of view.
That's right. And we don't make, a lot of people don't have that connection between food and what I'm feeling or what I'm not feeling. We look, you might have heard of the Mediterranean diet, which is pretty much the gold standard protective diet in the world, and the Japanese diet. And it's supposedly, if you're on this, you've got I think 35% decrease in the chance of you getting depression and anxiety. Like, it's pretty incredible.
That's huge.
Loads of evidence around this stuff. This stuff, a good microbiome, so a good, healthy, robust gut, You can reduce inflammation, and what else is it? Increase your energy level and literally improve your mood. So this like massive overall improvement in well-being. And it doesn't have to be that hard. One thing you can do immediately is increase your fiber intake. So the gut bacteria grossly, they feed on fiber. So and that's insoluble fiber. So that's roughage, like when we used to eat all bran, like there was something in this stuff. We've always kind of known this stuff, but not why. Now we kind of know why. Yeah. So we're literally feeding this army of good soldiers for ourselves. Like it's amazing stuff. There was a guy, there's a really great book called The Diet Myth, if anyone ever gets to read that. It's a guy who goes out and lives for a while amongst this African tribe who eat primitively, and their fiber intake is massive. And consequently, they're, excuse me for being crude, but their shits are they're massive and they weigh kilograms, and their gut biome is incredibly diverse and abundant. And they don't get any of these lifestyle diseases that we do. Yeah. And these guys are out foraging and ranging and walking for kilometers and kilometers and kilometers each day, and incredibly, incredibly healthy. And they don't get depression, anxiety.
I don't see that your gut health is not just about what you eat. It's also about how you feel. Because as you mentioned before, you get those butterflies or an upset stomach. I can go from home to be on a FIFO job, and my whole toiletry habits change. Not from my diet. I keep my diet exactly the same. The only difference is the water I drink is different. But it's how you're mentally feeling can actually change your whole gut. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you eat.
Oh, no.
So I think if we focus just on what you eat, you're only getting half the story.
Yeah, such a good point, Mark. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So it works both ways. It changes the way that you feel, and then the way that you feel changes the way that you digest as well.
That's right. So you need to listen to your gut. It actually tells you why am I different? And it's because of you're in a stressful job or you're in a stressful role. And I notice I come home regular every day, go to work. I said when I used to be FIFO, and it was like, it'd be maybe once every 2 days, and my whole gut and everything would change for the 2 weeks that you were there, not because of what I ate, because I maintained that I ate the same stuff that I would at home.
Yeah.
So you talk about, I think if we just focus on what you eat, we're only doing half the job. It's not just about what you eat.
It's a great one to be able to control, though, because we have complete control over what we put in our mouths.
Oh, absolutely.
So everything is either bringing life or death. There's not much grey ground in there when it comes to that. So it's fuel, like you said, it's fuel. So how much good fuel are you putting into your machine? Does make a difference, from what you're saying. But we 100% agree with you. Totally. It works both ways, doesn't it? So exercise.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Did anyone else just before we move on, sorry. Anyone else have any sort of comments about the nutrition side of things? I really like Mark's comment there, because these are just like fractions of what go into well-being. So you look at gut, but you can also do things about how you're managing your stress levels or your environment or your occupation. So Mark, it doesn't exist in isolation, and it's not a panacea, which is a cure-all at all, but it might help people a bit. And that's what we want, is if out of this we can help people a little bit, or switch you onto something that can improve your health, your well-being, that's our job. That's what I want to do. So it's not a cure-all, but it might help.
So more fiber, you said, definitely more fiber.
That's the first thing.
Definitely more fruit and vegetables, more water. We talked about
definitely
that.
Yeah.
And reducing all of your refined whites.
Yeah, something you can do tomorrow, basically. Yeah.
Something you can do tomorrow. Yeah. So you're not going to tell everybody that they need to go vegetarian, vegan.
No way. No, I'm not preachy, not or judging.
But you are, though, aren't you?
No. I'm not. I'm saying
I'm not saying you're preachy. I'm saying that you're vegetarian.
Oh, I'm vegan. Yeah, but I'm not. Oh, you'll never hear me trying to convert people at all. I want people to feel better. It just works for me.
Highly recommend that you reduce the gluten in your diet.
Yeah, yes. And that's something I've done about 12 years ago, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, we've only just started doing that probably about 6 months now. And the amount of benefit that our whole family has had is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just, everyone's just going, wow. And now when we do have something that's got gluten in it, because we do the 80-20 rule, you can't go completely gluten-free unless you know, there's some stuff that you still enjoy life.
Yep.
But sometimes when we have something that's got gluten in it, we notice a huge change straight away in our gut. But it's made a huge difference by removing gluten from our diet. And there's more and more stuff now. And I just read a book called The Brain Grain, version 2. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. And it explains how the whole thing works with your brain and metabolism. It talks about your gut being the second brain. And it goes in. It's written by a neurologist. So if you ever get a chance to read it, that's the book there.
Brain Brain.
Absolutely Brain Brain.
David Perlmutter. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's got a website, but it's full of so much information and talks about what you're mentioning about your gut. And as soon as I started doing some of the stuff in here, it's just like, wow, what a big difference. And the whole family's doing it. And the girls have got no more upset tummies. They're going through their menstrual cycles with less stress. No more getting constipated. All that sort of stuff is stopped. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. And people just think, well, because I've always done it this way and I never had a problem before.
Yeah.
there's not that need for change or not need for looking at it. And I think you don't realize how much you're missing out on in life in terms of energy and brain function until you do.
You don't have to be celiac. You don't have to be celiac either to go gluten free. It's because, as you mentioned about the quality of foods now. Now we've genetically improved, especially in Australia and in America, our grains. To get a better yield, we've modified our greens so much, but our bodies haven't caught up. Our bodies are still back in caveman time, but yet the science that we've put into our grains, and we use that for all our products, has just escalated so quickly. We haven't caught up, and that's why it's doing more harm to us now than what it did to our great grandmothers. So there's a huge, huge understanding.
And we didn't realize that, and we were growing up on different food than what we're eating now too.
Exactly.
Hey, Mark, did you want to put the name and the link? Rich has set up a Facebook group, so if you want to just chuck a photo and the author and stuff of that book, if anyone wants to go back and have a look at that. I'm just really aware of time.
Do you know what? I'm just going to say, let's not rush through it, because I think how it's going is fine. And if we don't get through all the content, we'll just carry on the conversation about these foundations, because it's probably about 3 weeks of chat. Because if people, I think like Mark coming in with it, this is where the richness comes out, where someone comes out and says, I've done this, shares it with other people. So let's just keep going.
And that's been so helpful for you. And it's something that we haven't really. So let's
just keep going is that all right with everybody? Is everyone all right with that? Rather than rushing through all these foundations. Awesome. Yeah, I think this is nice and natural.
Sam, did you want to say anything about your diet?
What are your thoughts on V drinks?
Hold on. You're muted. Are you muted? Oh no, you just don't have real good sound. Hold your phone up or something. Are you on your phone?
What are your thoughts on V drinks, mate?
Thoughts on what?
V. Red Bulls.
V.
V's.
For energy, having a good hit of energy.
Well, all right.
What's in that? What's in it? What do you want to talk about? What's in a can?
All right. So all right. What I'll say is,
but it was a bit tongue in cheek, the comment, but
no. But I think it's really good because
they power those things down every day.
I'm so struggling to hear you.
All right. I will say
having a Powerade every day. What's the difference? You're saying from energy drinks.
All right. So I'd say I'm not a nutritional expert, but what I'd say is, yeah, it does give you energy, but it's not a sustainable kind of energy. So it's a ton of processed food. Look, foods aren't good or bad in themselves. It's about how you use it, how much of it you use, when you use it, etc. If you have a V or a Red Bull now and again, whatevs, it's not going to kill you. if you're using it as your primary source of energy, or to feel okay, or to feel normal, or you're compulsively using it, then there's probably a problem there. It'll give you a short-term burst of energy. There's no denying, but you'll go like that. It's very, very high glycemic index.
Yeah.
So, and then what happens? Your energy crashes. Usually there's a correlation in your mood. You feel like shit. And what do you have to do to get back up there? You have to have another one. So you're on this sort of energy roller coaster rather than having something more long-term background, slow burning energy. So
it's like what we do with diabetics too.
And I can't say,
if you're having a hypo, you have, a fast acting and a slow acting, and you're looking at that from your, GI index, yes, but also how much you're getting of that sugar into your bloodstream to take you back up again. So a lot of those.
This book explains a lot of that.
Yeah, it explains
this
a lot
book
of it.
goes into the detail and gives you the science behind the whole lot, exactly what you're talking about. So
yep. So having a fast acting and a slow acting to stabilize that metabolic rate, so that patients don't bottom out. Like, that'll kill you, having sugars of that low. So it's dangerous, like life-threatening. And you'll peak them with like an orange juice because the sugar is so high in that content, and then you'll give them a sandwich. So you've got a slower acting fiber sugar. It's sugar, but it's acting quite differently on that. So just watching what you're grabbing at for energy, and like you're saying, how long for. But you mentioned too, Mark, not taking the joy out of it. Like, the whole idea of life is that it's to be enjoyed rather than endured. So it's not like, getting stressed about all the things I'm eating and not eating, like enjoying life. If you're enjoying your coffee, that's great. Do that occasionally.
Let's not forget, caffeine is actually really good for you. It enhances your athletic performance. It enhances your memory, your focus. It's actually a performance enhancing chemical. It's not good or bad. Like, if you don't use too much of it, use too much, and you're going to get anxiety. You can end up getting like literally an arrhythmia. So your heart can go out of sync almost. So it can be quite dangerous. That amount of sugar. So it wouldn't normally be that abundant in nature, but we package all this sugar up, and it basically lights our brains up, and we just want more because it feels
sugar's a proper addiction. Like, you may as well get on some drugs.
But it's not good or bad. You would die without glucose. Your body needs glucose, but it's just, again, now and again's all right. Like, I'm not going to say it's good or bad, but I'd just be aware of what it might be doing to your body and how you're using this stuff and where you're getting your primary source of energy from. Like, and we're not talking about spirit, just like literally your fuel for your body. So I'd say moderation's the key, really. Walk the middle road with this stuff. Like, now and again, it's fine, isn't it?
So we did a great session with the woman talking about movement motivation, and I'm interested in your thoughts on exercise and movement.
Yep. So we're supposed to move. Like, no. I mean, it sounds obvious. It sounds obvious. We are creatures, animals that are supposed to be moving, and it's quite a significant amount of distance each day. So it's about I think it's about 12 kilometers each day that we used to hunt, forage, gather, travel. So that's quite a lot, really. And I'd say most people aren't really doing that stuff these days.
Yeah. So if you've got a desk job as opposed to a physical job.
Yeah.
Or what about people who have physical work, but they then don't feel like they want to go to the gym, or they don't want to? So how much is movement and how much is fitness?
Well, we're supposed to,
in terms of importance for health.
Well, the recommended guidelines are about 30 minutes, moderate to intense exercise a day. But it doesn't have to be every day, but it's most days. Or you can combine that. So you might do 2.5 hours a week in 3 sessions or something like that. But it's about 30 minutes a day. But again, exercise is literally medicine. So in mental health now, one of the first line treatments, whether you're not feeling that great, whether you're really depressed or anxious, or even if you're feeling good, you're going to feel better. It's just, it's factual, it's evidence based. So we're now literally doing what we call social prescribing. So instead of going straight to go to a therapeutic group, go straight to use medication, exercise, we're prescribing exercise. Go and see a personal trainer, go and see an exercise physiologist, because this has this amazing, really quite easy natural benefits of of exercise. What it does, it's proven to basically improve so it's protective for your brain. You've got increased cerebral blood flow. So flow to your brain. It has, it increases the size of your hippocampus. So that's the part of your brain that's associated with memory. It's got, obviously it has those physical effects. It improves your cardiovascular fitness. It's protective against a lot of these lifestyle diseases, like diabetes, for example. You can reverse, with the right diet and exercise, you can reverse type 2 diabetes, the so-called lifestyle illness. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, and diabetes, all of your cardiovascular conditions.
And I want you guys to think about exercise and all this stuff as antidepressants. It's an antidepressant. It prevents you, or it prevents depression, or it can prevent depression or improve your depression. You're literally releasing these neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are implicated in mood. You'll feel better. So who's exercised and had that sort of natural high afterwards? You don't have to go, jumping out of planes or base jumping or doing anything daredevil.
Go for a quick walk.
It doesn't have to be that intense, and you'll feel. A lot of.
Do you guys find that you're fitting in exercise into your wellness plan, your thoughts? Yeah.
Not as much as I should.
Not as much as you should. You can't say should. Not as much as I want to, or I feel my body would be better if I. We're running out of time. Sam, did you?
Not as much as I should want to. I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do it enough.
Yeah. So a good tip that I had around that from somebody recently is, what did you used to do that you did enjoy? Awesome. Like, were you the 5-year-old boy who thought soccer was awesome, or were you just rather ride your bike, or like it seems really rudimentary, but to think about that, or if you played sport at school and then having that, like, I know, Sam, footy has been a big part of your life, and then children.
It's true though. What did you used to bring you joy? What did you used to love doing? And it's so true. And you see when people start talking about this thing, their eyes light up, they become animated. And then we go, well, how can we give you that again? How can we do that again? It doesn't have to be, it might not be playing, how long is the AFL last for? Sorry, 2 hours. It can be like going for a kick around in the park with your mate. It's what I do now. I play soccer on Sunday. Seriously, let's go play soccer, social soccer. You get that buzz from it. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like work, Richard, which is what my next point would be, is like, do something you're going to enjoy. Like,
go and have a kick.
If you hate the gym, don't go to the gym. If you hate, cycling, don't go and join a triathlon club just because you think you should. Seriously, do something you love, and it won't feel like work.
And try new things. Try things if you've never climbed a mountain, or if you've never swum in a pool or swum in the ocean. Try it. Challenge yourself, because I find that the most times when we don't exercise as much as our bodies need us to is because we haven't found the thing that lights us up.
That's true.
There's not the joy in it. So if it's not fun, you don't desire to do it. So that's why, sorry, I'm not picking on you, but I think that comment's really interesting, because when you find things that you love, then it becomes about just being disciplined around it.
Yeah. Or there's that, or make it.
I agree with what Richard said.
But this is opportunity time though. It's opportunity time for you guys. Is like, hey, let's open ourselves up to the opportunity of finding something we really, at least kind of is okay. It doesn't seem like a chore, but it also can serve dual purpose. So, it's a great chance to work on your rest, work on your sleep. I exercise, I sleep better. To work on my mood. It improves my desire to put good fuel into my body.
So do you think that the thought around this is the fact that it's a lack of motivation, or it's a lack of availability, or it's a lack of finding joy? I'm just interested, because you're saying I should do that, but I don't want to. Is it because you haven't found the thing, you haven't challenged yourself, you haven't made it a priority?
It's about the priority.
Complex.
What do you reckon?
It's all about the priority, because when, especially, the best thing I've ever done is get rid of the games off this bloody thing, so that I'm not sitting there in those quiet moments doing these ones because it's pointless. So my productivity in the last 3 or 4 days has gone skyrocketing, but now I'm playing catch up on all the stuff that I neglected over the last couple of weeks. So it's about now getting back on top of everything. Then I can start making time for the things I want to do.
Yeah. Or else, if there isn't any time at the moment, how can you? I hate the idea of multitasking. I'm kind of like do one thing well, but
do one thing.
I mean, one thing I do is
men do that so much better.
But one thing I do is like at the moment is I ride with my daughter to school with my little boy on a trailer. So I'm towing this thing. I'm doing some like
fitting it in.
I'm doing some resistance work. I'm doing some cardio stuff. It's a social activity because we've built this. We call it a bike train. There's now like 12 people in this thing. It's like, oh, that looks really cool. So this stuff doesn't have to exist in isolation. You can be working on your rest. You can be working on your exercise. You can be working on your socialization and bundling this stuff up. It doesn't have to be like in a silo. I'm going to socialize on Monday, exercise Tuesday.
So the tips that we got from that the two things that I took away from the session that I did on movement motivation from the experts that I had come in on that was the chick who runs the yoga Pilates. That's her life. She said, what I teach my clients is just to do 10 minutes. So if you don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning, don't let yourself have that option. Just do 10 minutes. Tell yourself it's 10 minutes. And then if you want to stop after 10 minutes, stop. But she's like, every time, obviously, you feel like going a little bit further, but only 10 minutes. And if you're doing 10 minutes a day, then you're doing more of what you need to. Getting out of bed, first thing in the morning, get out of bed, just drop on the floor, a couple of sit-ups. It tells your body you're awake. It's that natural, okay, I'm awake now, I'm moving everything. Sets you up for a whole different attitude towards the day. It doesn't have to be complicated, or I'm not, doing my cycle session or my rowing or whatever, going to the gym, just being able to do sit-ups, press-ups, whatever. I'm not whatever it is, grab some weights, do something for 10 minutes a day. The other big thing was then from challenging yourself is then you add into that. So you just make a time or a distance challenge. So if you've done 10 minutes and your challenge is to do 15 minutes more regularly, or you walked a K and then you're going to try and walk a K and a half. So putting around those parameters.
It's just goals, isn't it?
Like, basic, but super, super basic. And I feel like we don't do it because it seems all too hard.
Yeah.
I don't have an hour to go to the gym.
Yeah. Or we go.
But if you do 10 minutes, so 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And
also it's this wonderful, the guilt kind of evaporates as well. That if you can do 10 minutes, like Jess said, if I take my daughter to school on the bike and I don't get to do anything like structured exercise wise later in the day, or I don't feel guilty, at least I've done something. It's like, cause life happens to us. Let's just face it. Like we just don't get we have great plans and then things happen. And like Richard says, priorities pop up. Your kid gets sick. You've got to go into work, whatever. And that just, so at least you've got it done. The guilt's not there. You've done something. I always think that's better than nothing.
Yeah, shifting that guilt. Yeah. So we've got a couple of minutes left in this call. Sorry, Mark, are you going to add something in there?
Just saying, talk about priorities. Us men, we always put ourselves last and our families first, and that takes majority of our time. We're a husband, we're a father, you're a soulmate, you're the worker. I don't have time for myself as much, and yes, you always try not to use that as an excuse, but you run out of time. You run out of, I've got to cook dinner.
So you run out of energy if you're not putting anything into the machine as well.
Well, I don't really run out of energy. It's just finding the time to separate to do, I'm just going to go and do exercise now, even if it's 10 minutes, because as soon as I've got a free spare minutes, can you do this for me? Can you do that? We need to do this. You don't get that time.
What I would say, Richard, on that point is I don't think you can afford not to give yourself some time. I just do not think, I think it's so important, and it's not being, there's kind of like a good selfishness and a bad selfishness. The good selfishness is,
this is self-care.
Is the self-care selfishness is like, I have to look after myself so I can be better for everyone else, so I can be healthy for everybody else. So you're an equal priority. And I think, but you can't afford not to work on that.
The communication around that, women just need to know. Like, it's interesting because men are doing all the things for everyone, but women feel like we're doing all the things for everybody as well. So having that.
Yeah, we're all.
But right, you're laughing at me, but it's true. So I think that's
true.
Great. You go do what you need to for you, but then I'm going to do what I need to for me.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because we could have got very biased if it was just me. I'm like, yeah, you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Carrying the weight of the
voice
world.
of reason, but we all are. But we all have to be well. We all have to be well for each other.
We do, and it's about working together. If you've got a partner, you need to be, having that communication. Men just kind of get frustrated and I can't. But talk to us.
Well, we can talk in future weeks about how we might communicate this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be here next time, so you can say all the things. You're smiling. Well, good chats. Zoom is like brutal at cutting us off. Next week we might get Rich to set it up, and then are you happy to set up Zoom for next time?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, you can do that.
And I might be in touch somehow with Richard. How what's the best way to?
No, he'll send you a link and you just jump on.
No, I mean like prior to that. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
You'll have to, Richard. How do I get to your web? How do I get to your Facebook site?
Oh, how long listen a minute. Jess will send it to you.
I sent it to you in an email today. There's a link for it.
Okay, I'll try that, because I'm not a big Facebook guy.
To see your emails, I will text it to you and try and add you in.
I seen your email. I just, like Richard, I don't spend a lot of time on this. I try and use it more as a phone. So
what?
My wife does all the Facebook stuff. She's always on it, so I don't need to do it.
It's a phone. You talk to people on it. Amazing.
No, he uses it as a phone, not as a computer. He's saying.